fired the weapon but it was an accident. Why do you think they did that? Because he's Alec Baldwin. It was a terrible case, and I said from the beginning, and I can't stand Alec Baldwin. He's a great source of revulsion, but he wasn't guilty of criminal negligence. I said that from the beginning. He may be a lot of things, but this is ridiculous. You got to be able to look at the cases here. You got to ask yourself what's going on.
They offered him a plea bargain whereby he could have walked, and he said he's not done it, and now he's facing big time.
Well, when you say walk, what does it mean? Probation walk? I mean, what is the term of this? Dismiss it?
ASAP, Rocky, plea bargain, like back time or some. Yeah. It was 180 days in prison. What's his plea deal? And now he's facing decades by going to trial. We've seen that before, where people think that they trust the justice system if they're innocent, and they refuse to sign for a little amount of time, and then they end up getting life off.
Absolutely. Hang on. There's one thing. There are some cases where you can make a plea deal. There's a name of I can't remember the name of it. There's a particular name of it where you basically plead guilty, even though you didn't, just to say, all right, let's just be done with it. I'll take the sure thing, and So I don't know that one. That one I don't know. See, this is the one I've got to. I often learn another thing too is first I don't know enough about the case, so I don't want to talk about it because you sound like an idiot if you do it. Number one. Number two, unless you're in that room, you don't know what you can't read the vibe. You can't read anything. You can't look and see how. I swear to you, I have walked into cases where I cannot believe. How do I say this? I walk in and I thought I knew what the case was. And then I see the jury and I realize that, and then I change 100%.
QQ wants to know, Lionel, if you are mocking the system for coming after Diddy because time is revealing nothing new.
Mocking the system is one thing. First of all, there's something wrong with the case when the feds are charging him for this, which amounts to basically a state case. That's number one. Number two, they're charging him with what? Conspiracy, racketeering, conspiracy, what? Where they created this idea where he lured people in and he promised them. I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. This is not racketeering. Who is he conspiring with? Who is this racketeering enterprise with? It just, the whole case seems like it was stretching. And I think there's three or so counts, and one of them is, I don't think they mention any co-defendants. The case is just, it doesn't really, that's a state case. Let the state folks handle it. They're better. Have it in California, but federal racketeering? What? Now, I'll tell you one thing, which is the most, what is this? What is something about that?
What does Lionel think about the theory that Celebrity B may have put a spanner in the works by saying age is willing to testify?
I have no idea what that was. What is a spanner in the works? Is that a Brit phrase?
Yeah, a spanner in the works means putting something in the works that's going to sabotage it.
Oh, I like that. Oh, a spanner in the works.
Yeah.
The theory that Celebrity B may have put a spanner in the works by saying age is willing to. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what the end of that question means either, Jane. By saying age is willing to testify. Can anyone translate that, please?
Or in English.
Like
I get that
elaborate.
I get that a lot sometimes. It's a good, listen, all I know is this. When you're going to bring a charge against somebody, you better be ready to go. You don't want to bring this case up and then later hope through some kind of finagling, and now we're going to get somebody to come in and say, no, you've got the case, you've got the women, here's what they look like, you've got some kind of corroboration, something. There was give you an example. We'll get to your transportation case in a moment, but let me give you an example of corroboration. There was a woman that sued President Trump. Her name is E. Jean Carroll. And she claims, this was a civil case, she claimed some type of untoward behavior that was assaultive. And one of the ways they corroborated it was a friend of hers said, I was at home and got a call from her at the time she said it happened. She was crying, saying this. And I said, well, you should call the police. At least there was kind of something there. Okay. Maybe. But you need corroboration. There are people who, and the worst part about it is, and this is the worst part. Ladies, I want you to listen to me. I don't know how it is in your country, but in mine, the last thing in the world people want to do is to call the police, go to an emergency room. They want to forget things. They want to take a shower. They want to take a bath. Everything you're not supposed to do. And not in the case of, if I ask more women right now, how many of you during the course of your life, dating life, single life, remember an instance with a man where you're saying, I'm not sure if that qualifies, but that was weird. Or something even worse. I cannot tell you how many. So I don't know what. So remember this. The last thing you're thinking of is, well, why didn't you call the police? Call the police. It's not like somebody stole my wallet. People don't understand that. It's a different case. It's a different thing. You want to calm down. You feel, aside from being perhaps maybe embarrassed or whatever it is, you have to look at this. That's why the counselors are so important. We've got to make this very easy for women. Now, the problem also is in the case where there's no physical, you can say it was consent. I don't know what you're talking about. It's one thing when you got a broken jaw. It's another thing when you're saying, at the end, excuse me, you were on a date? Yes. And then they think you're attacking the woman. You're not. You're trying to understand the context of this. You're trying to, it's the worst case. It can be the worst case ever. Another one is the notion of, and this, let's assume, Shaun, you were a single man out and about. Again, I don't know about your place, but you run into a woman who looks 40 years old. Everybody says, she's too old for you. She's 40 years old. Okay. And, it turns out she has a form of progeria. And she's not 40 years old. She's 16 years old, but she looks older. And even all of your friends said, she's too old for you. That's not true. She could be, what are you, dating your mom? Well, let's say for some particular reason okay. And there's no reason for you to be put on notice or to even think that maybe this person may be underage. And later on, sure enough, she's 16 years old, has a disease, progeria, right? Under our country, it's liability without fault, strict liability, statutory, and that's it. Period. What do you say? Better yet, next time you say, well, I'm not going to be burned. Show me your passport. Here it is. Show me here it is. Show me here's my deed. Okay, good. You have, and all of them are forged. Doesn't matter. Liability without fault. Period. There's no way around it. There's nothing you can do. Let me go a step further in this weird one. Did you ever see the show called To Catch a Predator? It was on an NBC.
Yeah, we've had Chris Hansen on multiple times.
Oh yeah, I think we've talked about this. I got a big problem with that show.
Really?
Yeah, guy calls up. He says, "So, I'm. What is your name? I'm Big Daddy SA. And how old are you? I'm 12 years old." Well, the person you're talking to is a 45-year-old guy named Chick who's at a sheriff's office, and there's no kid. But you think there is. I'm going to do this and that. But there's no kid. There's nobody there, nobody there. But you think there is. You see where I'm going with this? You think. All right. So eventually you show up to this place thinking you're going to meet somebody, and there's nobody there. There's a guy there, and they arrest you. Why? Because you thought you were talking to a 12-year-old. You thought you were. And what's even weirder, in some jurisdictions, you could actually be standing next to a young person and say, hey, would you like to do this? And that's not against the law. But if you do a computer, it is. And you figure that one out. You figure that one out. Okay. Now, I'm not suggesting it because anybody who does this, chances are, has carried through with it, and these people are sick and they should be. But do you see where we're going with this? They thought there was. So let's see. Let's imagine. Let's say, Shaun, God forbid, you lose your eyesight and you're blind. And one night you're out and you're drunk. You're blind drunk. You're walking around and you're gassed out of your mind and you're blind. And you think somebody's in front of you, but they're not. And you pull out a gun, you say, give me your money. There's nobody there. But a Bobby, or whatever you call your cop, you get arrested. You get pinched for robbery, for thinking you were robbing somebody. But there was nobody there. But you thought there was. They wouldn't charge you with thinking you robbed somebody. All right, give me your money. Why, you blimey, give me your money. I don't know what that accent is, but does that make any sense to you? No. Well, what's the difference between...
Putting the legalistic side to the side for a moment, though, going back to Chris Hansen, if the cops were doing their bloody jobs, these people wouldn't be roaming around hitting on decoys. They'd be behind bars, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, but I don't know how you're supposed to do their job unless you do that. I don't know.
It's not a priority for the police. That's what it is. Because it's not a priority for the police, other people have come in to pick up that slack.
Yes, but also it's because it's kitschy and it's weird. Now, what's the difference? What's the difference between that and a woman pretending she's a prostitute and trying to get you to make an offer to commit or a solicitation? And
you mean an adult woman? An adult woman? An adult woman?
Yeah, adult woman. Right.
Well, if someone is an adult woman and soliciting an adult man, it's a different thing than a kid, isn't it? Someone who thinks they're going to meet a kid.
Well, here's why. Here's the difference. In our system, it is against the law to offer anybody money for that particular behavior, whether it's a pet, a woman, a child, anybody. So it doesn't really matter their actual status. If they really are one, it's against the law. It's not against the law to make a liaison. If you're in a corner, I know this sounds weird, but if you see a kid, you say, hey, want to come up to want to see my etchings? Sure. Is that against the law? Not necessarily. You're just asking. So, but if I did that on a computer, it's against the law. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense. I've told you this, what AI is going to do. You're going to find people who are eventually going to say, I've got better stuff I can do with AI. I don't want pictures of real. I don't need this. I've got better pictures. I can go to Grok 4, Grok 5. Hey, draw me a picture of Shaun with a cactus. And next thing you know, look at that. Oh my God. I'll take that. That looks better than a picture. Better lighting, better. Want me to change the edit? Sure. Now, if I have that, if I'm in possession of that, and the theoretical picture, the age of this theoretical AI person is an infant, what am I in possession of? A sick thought? It's not real. The law doesn't know what to do with that. They're going to say, well, we can't let them get away with it. Why not? It's a thought. Yeah, but it's sick.
QQ wants to know, why is it not a crime to set up a dummy drug deal, but it is to set up a dummy child meetup?
Because, well, interesting. The law, well, yeah, but also the law says you cannot. Let me go through this. It is against the law for you to aid, abet, counsel, or to conspire, or to offer to buy or offer to sell narcotics to anyone. If you stand there on the corner Shaun Atwood with a sign like Peanuts used to do, say, drugs, $5. That's against the law. Whether anybody takes you up on it, whether somebody comes up, it's against the law. You cannot offer drugs. So somebody set up a dummy deal involves you committing a crime. Now, we get into the notion of, again, here, entrapment. Entrapment is a different story. That's another little... The idea is that we have this statute in our country, and in many states, it says it is against the law to use a computer to elicit, to solicit activity with children using a computer. They don't even talk about the act. It's using the computer. That's what they're upset about. Not that you're doing it, but if I wrote a note instead, you send a letter, is that okay? It's okay. Well, wait a minute. Is it the act or the computer? I don't know. Laws are written so stupid. I had a case one time. It's so stupid. I tell you this story. This poor guy's daughter was crazy and she got in trouble. She was at a parade and got arrested. Anyway, she threw a bottle, and so I looked at the statute that she was charged with. It was this little ordinance. I said, let me just see what it says. It said it's unlawful to throw broken glass. And I said, it wasn't broken when she threw it. I said, this is stupid. They must be making a mistake with this. So I went into court. I said, Your Honor, I know you're going to, this is nothing, but the statute does say broken. She didn't pick up broken glass and throw it. We dismissed it. Who was the idiot who wrote the statute? I don't know. I don't know why. You've got to read it. How is Shaun involved in transportation? What? I'm luring you. I'm making a promise. I'm luring you to come and to be a part of my, I'm going to make you a big star if provided you do such as, oh my God, this has been BS and lying since the beginning of time. I'm not saying it's right, but this is against the law. We have in our country here unaccompanied minors, kids that they grabbed from Venezuela, Guatemala, brought them into this country, kids with no names, no record, in villages born, no birth certificates, there's nothing. Grab them, bring them in here. That's transportation. Nobody cares about that. Joe Biden, that idiot, didn't care about that. But we're worried about, did he? Are you kidding me? All of the hours I would have been saying, let me go and prosecute cases where children are involved in absolute transportation. This is, you just want a big scalp. You just want to be able to say, I was the guy who prosecuted Diddy. And I don't like Diddy. I know what he did with Justin Bieber. I feel, I can't prove it, but I don't have to prove things. You know things. When you're a parent, you look at Ziggy, you say, I know exactly what you're doing. I don't have to see it. What am I, stupid? You know what goes on. But what my revulsion is a lot different than what you can prove in court. Now that guy's but I can't, unless somebody brings a charge, I can't charge Diddy with something that I know he did. What am I, a mind reader?
So both are crimes. UK and US laws are different. In the UK, using a computer is malicious communication, but conspiracy is also a crime, but selling you an OXO cube is not. Confused ?
Again, I don't know what this...
And Michael's saying Diddy's got hundreds of victims and we should let him walk free ?
Prove
That's
it.
not what you're saying. You're saying that this transportation of the ladies of the night stuff is not a very strong case. Is that what you're saying?
No. I would take Michael and say, come on, let's go. Show me where he is. You got the hundreds? Just give me two. Forget the hundreds. 2. Let's go. I'm with you. Let's go. Well, I don't know. Okay. You should hear what people... I got to tell you something. What really scares me. And we got to be very careful about this. And let me talk about this we use this word conspiracy theory. I hate that. I hate that more than you can imagine. Conspiracy deals with our arrangement, not with the subject matter, not whether what we're saying is crazy, not whether evil forces or the deep state or no, it means you and I, if I pick up the phone and say, hey, Atwood, yeah, listen, that thing we were talking about,